We are all flawed. I am flawed. You are flawed. But we're in very good company because there's no one that is not flawed. And I want to tell you that there's no shame and nothing wrong with being flawed. As a matter of fact, we can learn much from our flaws. God can use our flaws for a great purpose. So, why do we feel so flawed? You know, being flawed really does not make you unworthy. It does not make you not good enough. It has nothing to do with it. But unfortunately, the thoughts that we have, the things that we say to ourselves, okay, when we internalize those and let those go around and around in our head over and over again, those are the things that cause us to feel like we're not worthy and that we're not good enough. But I'm here to tell you that you are. You are good enough. Flaws and all, you are more than enough. This is why it was so important, and I felt called to write my book, Flaws and All. To share the stories of women who are flawed, and to share my story of being flawed, and for years letting it defeat me, and then how I found healing through God. I shared my story. I shared the stories of 5 other women. We did interviews. And so I want to start with a woman, her name is Kim. And Kim shared with me that she didn't feel smart enough because as a young girl, she found herself pregnant. She married, and in the effort to help the family out, she said, I'll get a job at McDonald's. And this young husband of hers told her, you can't get a job at McDonald's. You're not smart enough because you didn't finish high school. I want to share a story of another woman. Her name is Lachey. And Lachey shared with me that she didn't feel pretty enough for such a long time. You see, she has a birthmark on the side of her face. And some young boy decided it would be funny, and he started calling her Scarface. And so all through her high school years, she was known as Scarface. So she shared how that left her defeated and not feeling pretty. I have another woman who chose to be anonymous that's in the book, and she shared her story of not feeling good enough in her father's eyes because he compared her to the other little girls that were on her team that were skinnier than she was, and she was 12. So we all experience flaws. We all experience hurts and painful things that are said to us. But I will tell you, there is a way that we can get over and quit this vicious cycle of it going around and around in our head. Because I don't want to leave you with those flaws and not let you know that they shared their stories basically because they wanted other women to know they were not alone, and they want other women to know that there is healing. And you know, healing does not come from denying you have flaws. Healing comes from knowing who you are and really rejecting anything that does not say who you are. Kim, who was told she couldn't count money, wound up being a vice president at a bank. And now she owns her own company. Lachey is now married. For those who know her, she is a beautiful woman, has a beautiful family, and owns not one but 2 businesses in the St. Louis area. And the woman who was criticized by her father at age 12 for not being skinny enough, she is married. She is a woman full of life, and she is a successful graphic and fashion designer. You know, I'll also share my story because my story starts with not feeling pretty enough and then goes into the working world as I got older, into not feeling smart enough because I allowed myself to internalize and believe that because my partner in business had all these certifications about style, that I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't good enough to be in this business. And I got to tell you, that's not true. God has shown me over and over again that is not true. So first and foremost, you've got to not just know, but trust who you are in God. Okay, trust is a big word. Trust is a big word, and you have to not only know, but you have to trust that you know who you are in Him. You have to trust what He says about you. And He says you are, as a Christian, His child. He says you are His daughter. He says you are a princess. And I really don't mean that diva kind of way with the crown. I mean royalty. I mean the real thing. The real thing here. So you've got to let go of the past. The past is not there to haunt you. We all do things. Hey, we all do things we're not crazy about, we're not happy about, we're ashamed of. But that's not where we live. That's not where we should live. So we have to let go of those. We have to let go of the lies the enemy wants us to believe about ourselves. And we have to replace that with, once again, who are we in God, and trusting Him that He knows what He's done in creating us. You need to risk being found out. What do I mean by that? Well, many people hide and try to be somebody else because they think somebody else is better than they are. Well, I'm here to tell you, there's nobody that is better at being you than you. So risk being found out, take the chance, and I guarantee you that you will be so wonderfully surprised at how people love you, flaws and all.